Welcome back to this very fun series of videos in which I am spraying down each sculpture and rock display with the garden hose. And this has motivated me to do a major overhaul of the displays themselves and really revisit everything out here. I am sure glad you gave me this idea, John. Huge shout out to John in Rhode Island for that request. Rock garden overhauls are kind of like airport remodels. If you move the coffee shop down to the end, then it makes sense to move the restaurants down there too. Then they are too far from the gates, and so it makes sense to rearrange the gates, which leads to the security lines being wrong. While we are at it, let's make the check-in counters match the new decor of the gates we just finished remodeling, and it may never end. Our local airport has been being remodeled as far back as I can remember. In an airport, it might be a real hassle, perhaps, but in my rock garden, it has only led to more discovery and fun. With that said, take a seat around here someplace on one of the many exotic stone benches and low walls that punctuate the garden, and let's check out a few more of these rediscoveries I have been enjoying. Today we will focus on two larger displays, Jacob's Ladder and the rocket ship. Be sure to stick around because at the end I will share a glimpse down into what's inside these two sculptures, since they happen to be new enough that I actually did record a little bit more of the process that went into constructing them. And the look down inside is really fun. Just in this little bench here, we see a few exotic stones from around the world, including a migmatite called Violet Paradiso, which is from India, a beautiful porphyritic granite from Brazil called Fiorito, and a stunning unakite all the way from Australia called Verde Fugo. The two smaller benches are of blue pearl, which is a larvicite from Norway, obviously quite blue and pearlescent. And this one here is of Labrador Antique, an amazing anorthosite quarried on the west coast of Norway. Although it's really fun to see all these natural rocks on the displays, remember that the sculptures themselves are composed of hundreds of such varieties of stones quarried in nearly every country in the world.
Hello, my name is Chris, and I'm a rockaholic.
Jacob's Ladder is huge, both in terms of the sculpture itself and the rock display that it contains. It is meant to depict the biblical narrative of Jacob and his vision of the angels ascending and descending a ladder between heaven and earth. This narration is found in Genesis chapter 28, 10 to 22. For us rockhounds, it is interesting to note that Jacob had this dream while sleeping with a rock for his pillow. Yes, that is specifically mentioned. He later erected that rock as a holy place to worship the Lord for keeping his amazing promises. I also call this Jacob's Ladder because in one of its earlier versions, the rocks were not on the sculpture and our cat would go up and down using the steps to access the tops of several nearby sculptures. We always called this his kingdom. Well, Jacob's Ladder existed previously as two similar sculptures, pictured here on the left and in the middle one being the one Oriole would climb up and down. And you can see how close it is to the spiral sculpture that we saw in the previous video, and he would access the tops of those. And both of those were taken down and combined to make the larger version that we see today. The rocks themselves are, in large part, mixed and unknown. Like I said in the case of the tornado display shown in part 1, many of these came to me either through trades or friends high-grading their own rock gardens, and I would just take whatever they were giving away. And I must admit, some I simply do not remember, either what they are or where I got them, which is another reason that motivated me to go ahead and do this huge reorganizing project, to revisit and record videos about everything before even more gets forgotten. I do want to highlight a few unique collections and pieces we are seeing here, though. We see some beautiful Amazonite with smoky quartz. The batch of specimens I collected when the Rock Club was invited to the Smoky Hawk claim near Florissant, Colorado. Grant, you and I went on that trip together. I encourage you guys to look up that claim and the stellar museum specimens it has produced. Another important small collection that we saw earlier came to me also through Grant when his uncle passed away quite a few years ago. He was a rock hound, and we were asked to go and retrieve his rocks out of the crawl space under his house in Cheyenne, Wyoming. When I say crawl space, I'm talking about 18 inches high, just space that happened to be under the rafters supporting the house. Guys, don't ever store your rocks in a tight crawl space under the house. Very difficult to retrieve. From him, I have this little batch of exotic petrified woods and limb casts. In the photo, you can really see the patterns. And of course, these are cut and polished from different parts of Wyoming. My apologies that the narration does not precisely line up with the photos or video clips, but I'm trying to go in the order as they appear, and I'm also inserting some labels of the important collections that I am highlighting. The bright pink mica specimens are lepidolite, which were also sent to me years ago by Grant from the Stewart Lithium mine near San Diego, California. The huge white agate we see fluoresces the most vibrant green, and you would never believe it was the same rock if you saw the photos side by side. The top section of the sculpture has some real treasures, most notably these amazing blue specimens. The larger one higher up is a sodalite-rich granitic rock quarried in Brazil for stone countertops. And I was quite pleased to come across this in Chuck and Alley Cat's discard pile many years ago. Chuck would always make these beautiful stone lamps, and he had a huge pile of rocks that he considered that he couldn't use, and he let me raid one time. I have some slabs of this material scattered around here from the granite shop, but I never dreamed I could find a rough, natural piece of it. Chuck and Alley Cat were good and generous members of our rock club for many years. The other larger blue one with the brecciated pattern came to me from Scott Resources, and you might remember some smaller pieces of it on the tornado sculpture that we saw in part 1. A stunning piece for sure, and if any of you happen to know what it might be, I would appreciate hearing from you. The really big orange piece at the top of the spiral is a stellar piece of limestone full of juicy quartz cavities, and it's super sparkly in the sun. It must be close to 50 pounds or so, and it was a lot of fun getting up the ladder to where it is now. A huge shout out to Art for finding this one, and his dear wife, who ended up being the kind soul who dropped it off at my house on her way back from Texas. Piece of very solid fossiliferous limestone that we see up close in the photo is a complete mystery. I do not remember where it came from, but it has been sitting up here in the weather probably for 15 years, and it shows no signs of weathering, so it must be a top quality rock besides being fascinating to look at. Of course, we see some amazing and vibrant red-veined quartzites, which came from near Lysite, Wyoming. I collected those myself along with Grant on a trip we did up there. We also have several pieces of petrified wood, including a complete polished round, the origin which I do not know. The colorful grouping of banded travertine came from Scott Resources, and again, I have no idea where it's from, but we enjoy them nonetheless. The rocket ship is also a new enough creation that I have filmed a few portions of its construction in time-lapse, which appear in a few of my sculpture building videos. I will just attach the sculpture building process playlist here at the end for those of you interested in seeing a bit more in this regard. The lower portion is built of almost 500 18-inch round sink cutouts, representing a tremendous amount of cutting on my part with the concave diamond blades meant for cutting circles and ovals. You know, with the blades costing at that time about $90 each, and my average of 12 or so cutouts per blade, that means I used about $3,700 worth of blades just cutting these out. And that's just the lower section. I tried something visually different with this one in the sense that I topped every section with 2 layers of white quartz to create a sort of highlight effect. And as an unexpected surprise, this highlight combined with the fact that each section increased by 1 additional layer of stones, with the shortest stack being at the bottom and the tallest at the top, the view looking down inside had the optical illusion of being immensely deeper than it really is. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I will show you a look down into this abyss. We will take a peek down into each of these 2 projects that we have seen today. The top, much narrower section is built of smaller oval sink cutouts made with a CNC machine. The main reason I left the stone industry was that my main task of cutting out sinks was gradually being replaced with CNC automation. But the cutouts do look cool, although significantly smaller than the hand-cut ones since it is a thick finger bit that does the cutting. Again, my narration does not line up with the images, but I will insert labels with the rock photos so you can know which ones I am talking about. And I have several videos about some of these rocks, and I will insert thumbnail images next to the rock to point you in the right direction when you look through my video list. The sculpture has 3 large collections as well as another section of what I call mixed rocks. Starting with the mixed rocks seen on the lower portion facing the house, we have some really nice aragonite, which I think was found in our local Graves quarry north of Fort Collins. I am not sure where the large stalactitic druzy quartz comes from. It came to me in a collection of mixed rocks. The large fossiliferous river cobble that I brought back from Colombia in 2015 got me called into that little room with no windows at the airport with 2 very well-armed guards. I'll let you watch the video that I show the thumbnail of. You'll get a kick out of that story. The Skyline mine tailings from Montana's Elkhorn Mountains are really unique. Next are some nice fossil soup beach cobbles from Mexico's Baja Peninsula. Wyoming's Turritella agate is a lapidary favorite, and I am pleased that I have a nice assortment of it. Let's go back up to the top now. The top 2 tiers all the way around the sculpture are a nice assortment of rocks from northern Colorado's Big Thompson Canyon, which is dominated by massive layers of mica schist, tilted almost vertical. There are quite a few good videos that people have posted driving through it. I think I even have one too. I do have several rock hunting videos you can see, and they are in the playlist I will attach at the end about rock hunting in our area. Most of these rocks are metamorphic, intensely folded mica schists. Some of them exhibit beautiful tourmaline needles, and the crystals are clearly visible in some of these specimens that I have. A few of these are in the 50 to 80 pound range. You'll get a kick out of the 2 videos that I did about building this particular display. In this collection, we have a number of really nice specimens, including a piece of the typical mica schist showing what I call ocean waves, an almost pearlescent reflection in the polished surface that mimics what you would see on the ocean looking down from an airplane. Next is perhaps my best piece of graphic granite, solid and free of cracks. The tourmaline and mica schist, cut and polished, was quite the challenge to lift into position, and even more of a challenge to get from the riverbank back to the car. We found this one all the way back in 2003 or so. Moving quickly along, the next 2 tiers down the sculpture all the way around are loaded with an amazing assortment of Archean-aged rocks from Montana's Beartooth Pass, collected over several years by my great friend Art, who brought them down to me over several trips. Below these, facing the yard, is a mixed collection of my daughter's rocks. I hope to have started her out on a good path for the next granite paradise, perhaps. Okay, I promised you guys a look down inside, so here are the clips from a few older videos during the construction of these two creations we have seen today. I will leave off now to the original narration. Hello and welcome back. I did a video on this sculpture, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, not long. And I did the view looking down in, and I just wanted to say I managed to scrounge up 30 more stones to add, which gives it a little more depth. And now I am going to put the top on it, so I need to get the last view. It's basically one more section of stone that makes the spiral just a little deeper. Now it's weighing definitely toward the higher end of the 10,500 pounds. And I'm still thinking that I'm going to take that sculpture apart, because it's also 6 pieces per layer and it's similar, just a lot smaller, and it'll match. Anyway, just wanted to share this with you. This is a short clip that my daughter filmed of me finishing up the top section of the rocket ship after I filmed what you just saw looking down into the abyss that I had mentioned. And this made its way around social media pretty well, but unfortunately I never saved an original copy of it from her. I do not recommend trying this at home. Yes, one ladder to get up onto the Tower of Babel, and another ladder to reach up where I am here. It is higher than it looks when you are placing heavy stones and balanced on a ladder that is balanced on another pile of heavy stones. And the next clip is the night that I got done building the main section of Jacob's ladder, and I dropped my tape measure inside. Again, I will leave off to the original narration of this one too. Hopefully it's made out of metal that sticks to a magnet. There we go. I have a very strong magnet. Thank you, Ray, for your great idea. Oh, my magnet might not be strong enough. Try this again. Come on. It's on there. Success. Well, guys, this has sure been a lot of fun. Thanks for sticking with us. If you stuck through to the end and enjoyed those clips looking down inside, that's your special treat for hanging in there all the way through. Anyway, there's plenty more to come for part 4. We still have, for example, this sculpture right here next to me to cover. Oh, I bet you there's still 5 or 6 more. We might even have 2 more full videos. One giant that we need to cover is the Oregon, California display, which you're seeing here. This is called the Tower of Babel, and it's a big one. And then we've got several smaller displays yet. We still have some stuff out front. John, again, a special thank you for giving me this calling, or this idea to spray things down with the garden hose. It's kind of given me a motive to reorganize everything and get things cleaned up and know what I have. Because, you know, unless you systematically go through stuff, there's a lot you never look at. Or if I never go over to that corner, for example, you know, so this has been really good. Like I said, this is part 3. We easily will have a part 4, and I'm thinking even a part 5. So look forward to seeing you for those, and God bless you guys. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Believe it or not, it really does help. As a channel, we're moving forward Kind of at a snail's pace, but it's steady, slow and steady. And that's okay, because that's how rocks are. I don't think these rocks are in too much of a hurry, but they're going to be around a lot more than we are. So please like, share, subscribe. Let's get this thing going while I'm still alive.